Hey everyone, it's Pat from Pat's Music and welcome to another 10 riff video that, yes, you can play with one finger. Now that riff from Leppard, thank you so much for the suggestion. Probably the hardest riff out of this bunch, but otherwise in the description are all the songs with their different time links, and all of these different songs came from you, came from your suggestions, so thank you so much. If there's another riff or song you want to learn, definitely leave a comment below. And the last thing I'll say before we get started, other than thank you so much for joining me again for another great video, is if you want to learn to become a guitarist and you want to learn solos and scales and chords and writing your own songs, learning other people's songs by ear, you want to learn to be a full musician, the first link below is a playlist. It's all for free, but they're all in order of videos that are in lessons that I've made. So it makes sense to learn these riffs and then go there and check out, okay, what am I actually playing? What's actually under my fingertips rather than just guessing? Highly recommend you check out that playlist, but otherwise, let's start. Okay, so diving into the first riff by Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me. Man, such a fun song. And as you can see, I was using really two different fingers the entire time. Of course, I'm going to show you a one finger method, but instantly, it'll make more sense why I think you should play with two fingers. If you're just starting out, honestly, with this riff, and I don't think I've ever said this before, try and play it with two fingers first, and at least, if you can understand what you're playing and what's under your fingertips, you can then sort of work up if it is a little bit hard, because it is a fast riff too. And it's just a loop of that, and then there's that swell chord. It sort of swells in the volume there. But let's dive right on in. So, first note you're going to be playing is first finger, 4th fret on the 5th string. And I would say mute it, meaning you use the meaty part of your palm. Next, if you're playing with one finger, you have your first finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. You play that and then you would slide back 2 frets. If you're using two fingers, you would play the first note with your first finger. Then you would pull off. So you pick once, then you pull off. So your 3rd finger's on the 6th fret and your first finger's back on the 1st fret. That's the start. Just keep practicing that. Once you've got that, move on to the next bit. So once you can do that pull off, your 3rd finger goes up to the 6th fret on the 4th string and you play that again muted. So what we've got so far? Once you've done that, you drop down, 1st finger, 4th fret, 3rd string. Back up to the fret and string you just played before, 6th fret, 4th string. So we've got so far. Then do it again. So one more time, nice and slow. Then, the last thing you do is if you're doing with one finger, you play the 4th fret on the 3rd string and slide to the 6th. Or if you're using two fingers, you play the 4th fret and then hammer on with your 3rd finger. And that's it. So here's the whole thing. Awesome. Now that's really half the riff. The next half, you only change the last note. So again, I'll go nice and slowly. Now instead of hammering on the 6th fret or sliding up to the 6th fret, you slide back to the 3rd fret from the 4th fret. So here's the first half. Second half. And if you're wondering how I'm getting that muted sound, I'm just resting my palm. I'll do it without the resting. Sounds much better if it's a bit muted and percussive. Is it a hard riff? Yes. Can you play with one finger? Yes, but suggest you play with two. Thanks for the suggestion. Alright, River by Eminem, thank you for the suggestion. So, it's a 4-chord song. Nothing wrong with 4-chord songs. Some of the best music is only 4 chords. It's played at a bit of a slower tempo. I'll show you the really advanced version that I just played, and of course I'll show you the 1-finger version. So if you're starting out, just think of it like you're playing a bass line. First finger on the 4th fret of the 6th string, that's your G sharp. Drop down a string and play the 2nd fret. Then while you're already there holding down that 2nd fret on the 5th string, play both strings, the 6th string open as well. That's your E power chord. Then jump up a string and play the 2nd fret. That's it. So that's the chorus, that's in the intro, that's the verse. It's just those 4 notes. If you want to make it harder, turn it into power chords, use your 3rd finger, just like the tab below. And here's full bar chords. So you've got G sharp minor, you've got B major, E major, and F sharp major. And if you're learning, just try and, even if you're just playing maybe E major, or a mixture of power chords, or you're just focusing on 1 chord, and you wait until it comes back around, that's still great. It's all good practice, and it's a bit of a slow strum. And that's it. Thank you for the suggestion. Alright, next one is Kiss, God of Thunder. Thank you for the suggestion. So, it's a slow sort of riff, but it's heaps of fun to learn. Again, majority of the time you're just going to want to use 2 fingers, but I'll show you the 1-finger method. Now to start with, the guitars are tuned a semitone back. It's one of those things with olden recordings from decades and decades ago. They're not quite in standard tuning. They're not quite in E-flat tuning, so a semitone down. It's kind of in between. So I think it sounds absolutely fine if you're moving this riff a fret back than when you would normally play it, and you're still playing the open E string. If you think it sounds better, you could tune this E string like a quarter tone down to match the recording. It's up to you. I really don't think there's a big difference. So firstly, you play the open E string twice, and sort of muted the whole time, so you're resting. Then, with your first finger, you could play on the 6th fret of the 5th string. Then jump up. Then jump down and go back 2 frets to the 4th fret. Then you play the 4th fret again and you slide to the 6th. That's like a quarter of the riff, so well done. Let's do it again. Once you've done that, the next part is you play again, open, same again, up a string, then play the 4th fret on the 5th string, up 2 frets, down a string, and back 2 frets to the 4th fret. Just practice that. So the first part, second part, now the last part starts off just like the first part. So open, 6th, 6th, up a string, 4th fret, slide. Great. Then this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You drop down a string and you play the 4th fret, up to the 6th, down again to the 4th fret, up again to the 6th, then you play the 4th fret again down a string, then you play the 6th fret on that D string, and you bend. So you bend down. So you're trying to bend to get the sound of the next fret. So you're trying to make it sound like the 7th fret. So play it 3 times, then the 4th fret, then the 6th fret. So here's that whole last part. And that's it. And I think it's way easier if every time you see a 4th fret, use your 1st finger. Every time you need to do a 6th fret, use your 3rd finger. And that's the main riff. It just keeps going on, and it's quite slow, so it's more like that sort of a speed. Have some fun. So, diving in, all you need to know is there's really 3 notes that you're playing. You're playing first finger, 5th fret on the 6th string, bridge pickup, lots of distortion, 5th fret, you're going back and you're playing the 3rd fret, and then you're playing an open 6th string. Now how I was playing to make it sound a bit more chunky is I was playing power chords, so 5th fret, then 3rd fret, then just have your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and play that 6th string open. And when you're chugging away and it's getting chunky, it's going to sound much more full if it's if you're holding that power chord rather than just open string. Here's the difference. Sounds a lot more chunky if you're using that power chord instead of just the open string. So to start with, I'll show you the 1 finger method. You play the 5th fret, then the 3rd fret. Let's just say you slide back. Or you could play each separate, up to you. Then you play the that power chord. It's all about this next rhythm. Have a listen. So what it is you'll play, imagine you play down, up, down, then again, down, up, down, then just 1 down. So down, up, down, down, up, down, then 1 more down. And of course when I'm saying down, up, down, I mean pick down, then pick up. So down, up, down, and again, and then just 1 down. Now, have a bit of a listen. This is the trickiest part of the song. It's all about this rhythm. So you play the 5th fret, the 3rd fret, then that power chord, then that rhythm that we were talking about, down, up, down, down, up, down, 1 down. Then that's the first half. The second half, you add in 1 extra strum. So start again, 5th fret, 3rd fret, then open power chord, then you do the strum, down, up, down, down, up, down, 1 more down. Here it is nice and slow the first time. Second time. So it's all about getting that sort of galloping rhythm, and that's the trickiest thing. Honestly, if I was learning this song, I would just hold that open chord and just try and get that rhythm, the chunky rhythm. But that's it, that's the main riff of the song. Alright, checking out Blink-182's Dumpweed. Thank you for the suggestion. Hadn't listened to this album for a long time. Now there's 2 parts of this riff that I'm going to show you. There's this part, and then there's this part. And I'm going to show you both. So start off with, you play your first finger, I reckon, have it resting on the 6th fret of the D string. You're going to play the open E string. Then you're playing with 1 finger, play the 6th fret. Then you play it again, slide up to the 7th and slide back to the 6th. So this is what it would sound like. If you're using 2 fingers, I would try and, once you play that 6th fret, hammer on and pull off. Then once you've done that, I would say use your 2nd finger on the 7th fret. Then you play the open 5th, 9th fret on the 5th string, then open 5th again. That is, I would say, half of the riff. So well done. Next, you play the same thing again, open 6th string, same hammer on, Same 7th fret, open, 9th fret on the 5th string. That's it. So you're just skipping out a note. So the first part, second part. This is the third part, so you're almost there. You're 3/4 of the way through. Next, instead of playing the open 6th string, you play the open 5th string. Same hammer on. Same 7th fret. Open 5th string. Open 9th, and then open again. So that next section. And the last section, you play the open 5th string, the hammer on again. Then this time, first finger, play the 9th fret on the D string, open 5th string, 9th fret on the 5th string. I'll play the whole thing nice and slowly. So part 1. Part 2. Part 3. Part 4. So next part, what you want to do is there's really sort of 3 chord shapes. So you're repeating one pattern basically and moving it 3 different times. So first of all, what you need to know is you're doing pull-offs. So you're playing, let's say, the 4th fret on the 1st string, and then you're pulling off so it still rings out, but you're only picking once. Right? So once you do that pull-off, you then play the open B string or the 2nd string, then you play the open 1st string. That's once through the riff. Great. And let it ring out. So do that twice on the 4th fret. Then move it back 2 frets, do exactly the same thing, but on the 2nd fret. Back up to the 4th fret. Then up to the 5th fret. Then up to the 5th fret. And then you repeat the whole thing. So 4th fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. And that's it. That's both riffs. Is it fast? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Give it a go. Good luck. Now, it is a tricky and complex riff, this Jethro Tull Aqualung. If you want to learn more, definitely leave a comment below and I can make a separate video for it. But if you're just starting out, this is what I would focus on. So, first finger, 5th fret, 5th string. Then jump up a string and play the 3rd fret and then the 6th fret. Then 3rd fret and 4th fret on the 5th string. Then 3rd fret again. So what we've got so far? How I would play it with multiple fingers is I would use my 3rd finger for every 5th fret, my 1st finger for every 3rd fret, 2nd for every 4th, and pinky for every 6th. So then you're not sliding around, you're just sticking in one position, the 3rd position. Now, if you did want to play the next part, it starts off with power chords on the 4th fret of the 5th string. You play that 3 times. Slightly different rhythm. Move up 2 frets. Move up 2 frets and same rhythm. Now, if you want to learn more, definitely let me know, but I reckon just stick with this so far. Let the other space go by, let the other crazy riffs and chords go by, and just focus on that one part. Thanks for the suggestion. Spin Doctors 2 Princes, thank you for the suggestion. Of course, I'll show you one finger method. For the verse, you've got 4 chords, D, B minor, A major, and G. And that repeats for that instrumental section where he's like, do-do-do-do, You know that bit, right? So how I'm going to suggest you start off playing with it before you do any of the rhythms, because it's all about that sort of rhythmic drive, is just try and play this bass line. So first finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, play that D note. Go back to the 2nd fret, same string. Then open. Then 3rd fret, 6th string. Just try and get that. So then if you're playing that along with the song, then you're starting to hear the chord changes. Then when you add in more chords, it's going to make it a little bit easier. So it'll be like this one, you know, that sort of a thing. Once you can do that, I would focus on 2 chords. Just try and get the D chord, skip the next one, skip the B minor, get the A chord. Then take your time and get back ready for the D. So it'll be like, when you can do that, that's when I would add in maybe the last chord, the G. So it'd be like this. Then I would try and add in that last chord, that B minor. So again, start with the bass line, then build up to this rhythm. Now, I'll play the rhythm nice and slowly. Even if you're just doing 2 strums to begin with and then building up. But that's the majority of the verse, and that's the main hook of the song. The chorus is the marry him or marry me. So it's a G major chord, marry him, or D, marry me. And then when it goes, I ain't got no future or family tree, on G, ain't got no future or family tree, and then A, but I know what a prince and lover ought to be. And then again, A again. I know what a prince and lover ought to be, cause. And that's the song. Thanks for the suggestion. Alright, thank you very much for the suggestion, Staring at the Sky. Let's check it out. So the easiest way I can show you this with 1 finger and on almost 1 string. First finger all the way up on the 10th fret of the 5th string. And if you're not sure and you're starting to count, just if your guitar has 2 dots, that means that's the 12th fret. So just count backwards by 2, 1, 2, and you're on the 10th fret. Play the 10th fret, then the 8th fret, then the 7th fret, all same string. Now, then jump up a string and play the 8th fret on the 6th string. So we've got so far. Then drop down and play the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then the 7th fret twice. And the last note, back up to that 8th fret on the 6th string. That's half the riff. The next half is even easier. You play the 10th fret, then the 8th fret, then the 7th, all on the 5th string. Then you play the 8th fret on the string above, then 5th fret and 7th twice on the 5th string. So you just don't play that last note. So here's the second half. First part. Second part. Then you just repeat. That's it. Thanks for the suggestion. Can't believe I haven't taught this song. So many riffs on this channel, and I forgot about this one, so thank you so much for the suggestion. So checking out Paranoid by Black Sabbath, such a great song. So I'm going to show you that riff that I just played. So the tricky thing is, really, if you want to play it with 1 finger, you totally can, but I'm going to show you how to play it, I think, a little bit better with 2 fingers. And the only hard thing is it's all the way up here on the 12th fret. Now I've dialed in a vintage sort of amplifier, and I've really pushed it, and I've put a distortion pedal in front of it just to give it that sort of a sound. So it's not quite as clear as a proper, you know, like a Marshall. To give it that sort of older sort of a tone. So what you want to do is with one finger. Let me show you the full version, then I'll show you how you can do it with one finger. So you want to lie that first finger down, so you're holding down the 12th fret on the 6th string and the 12th fret on the 5th string. Okay, now what you want to do, it's quite tricky, is you want to strum that. As you strum, you hammer on your 3rd finger on the 14th fret of the 5th string. So that's what it looks like. So you're holding down, you play, and then you hammer on. And that's what gives it that sound. If you were just holding it without hammering on, it sounds like this. There's a subtle difference, but it really makes a big overall impression, I think. So as you saw, you play it 3 times. Once you've done that, if you're using one finger, you slide from the 12th to the 14th on the 6th string. And then you drop down and do that same thing on the string below. If you're playing with 2 fingers, you turn that into a hammer-on. So we've got so far. Then you repeat that hammer-on with the 12th and the 14th, or the slide, the 12th to the 14th. Then you drop down and you play the 12th fret just by itself on the 5th string, and the 14th fret just by itself, no hammer-ons or slides, on the 6th string. So here's what we got. A little bit faster. And that's the riff. Good luck, heaps of fun. Yes, you can do it with one finger, but it sounds a lot better with 2 fingers. Thanks for the suggestion. Alright, Black Betty by Ram Jam. Thank you for the suggestion. So diving right in, let's show you the one finger method first. Play a little bit of distortion, back pickup, well, you know, lots of distortion, really. Play the 5th fret on the 6th string. Then play the 7th fret. Then you just let it breathe. Just like that. Then you play it again, but then you drop down and finish with a 5th fret on the 5th string. So it's like this. Then the main sort of riff sort of comes in. If you're playing with power chords, now, one finger method. The next part is a little bit tricky. You play the 5th fret, then the 7th fret. Then just resting your fingers lightly on the strings, but not holding them down, just lightly. I would strum down and then strum up. So you get that sort of a percussive sound. Then, all the way, it's a big jump, play your first finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and you play the 7th fret, then the 9th fret, then back to the 7th, all on the 3rd string. So nice and slow. If you can add in another percussive strum, definitely, but this is just bare bones, the most minimal way to play this song. Now, once you can play power chords and bar, I would suggest playing it this way. Now the next part, so I added in 2 extra strums there. The next part is a little bit tricky. You want to actually hold down the 7th fret on the D string and the G string, and you hammer on that 3rd finger onto the 9th fret, turning into a power chord. Once you're holding down those 2 frets, you play it 2 strings, then put your 3rd finger, making it a power chord, then take it off and play the chord again. Nice and slow. If you can add a few more strums in, percussive strums. It's a quick riff and there's lots of percussive elements, but have a go and thanks for the suggestion. And that's it. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Thank you for all of your suggestions. If you're having any trouble, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. And if there's another song you want to learn, leave a comment below. And finally, if you want to learn how to be a guitarist and more than just frets and numbers and more than just using one finger, head into that musician playlist, the first playlist in that comment section below. Otherwise, I'll see you again for another video. Bye.